The Anomaly, Tensura X Data Live, by Nocturne_Chapter 14, Doppelganger. The day after the outcome of the Spirit Witch or Natsumi Kyoyuno. Rimuru Pod things has started to settle down with a new order, this time with Rimuru added but didn't do much but go to school and switch to seal mode. She also seems to have gotten used to the school uniform. She was walking down the hall until she got confronted by Shidhu. "Hey, Rimuru, would you mind if I—" Shidhu was suddenly nervous and scared. "What is it?" Rimuru asks, confused. "Never mind. It's nothing," then he just walked away. "Huh?" Rimuru was bewildered. "Seal, is there something wrong with him?" Rimuru asks Seal. "Report. The Itsuka Shidhu in front of you is not him, Rimuru-sama. It's the individual, Natsumi Kyoyuno." "I figured. But why did she just walk away like that?" Rimuru asks. Seal was silent. "You did something, didn't you?" Seal was still quiet. "I knew it." Rimuru sighs. Rimuru quietly walks out into the empty corridor, she then disappeared. This was one of her Saphira's abilities. It allows Rimuru to make her own presence become almost non-existent. With the preparations done, Rimuru followed Shidhu. Two girls were in front of Shidhu, Mai Hazakura and Mi Fujibakama. Then, he ran towards them both and flipped their skirt up with no remorse at all. "What the hell is she doing?" Rimuru was shocked. Rimuru continued to follow Shidhu. Then, he saw another girl, Ai Yamabuki. He hit on her by pinning her against the wall like a playboy, wall slam. Then, he found Toka and groped her assets like a pervert. Even further, he went into the girls' bathroom where Kagaya and Yuzuru were the only girls there. Rimuru peeked from the door and she saw Shidhu, threw water at Yuzuru and said, "He has a fetish of wet shirt." And he stole Kaguya's panties and ran away from the scene. Then, he did more heinous things, especially to the teacher and Shidhu's friend until lunch. For Rimuru, she was completely bewildered and was in disbelief. If it was really Shidhu, she wouldn't hesitate to take matters into her own hands. Shidhu came to school late in the afternoon and is tired. It's already lunch break. Those strategy meetings for dealing with Natsumi went all night, Shido said in a sleepy tone. Then he went to his classroom, only to be met with cold stares from his classmates except for Rimuru. What? Shidhu was confused. Then the girl trio confronted him about his actions earlier. "How dare you show your face, Shido Itsuka," I said. "Don't you know what you've done?" Mi said. "That's so lame," Mai said. All three of them were completely mad, and he didn't know why. "What gives? What is this about?" Shidhu asks, confused. "You have some nerve to play dumb," I said. "Making lewd passes at innocent Ai," Mi said. "Embarrassing the hell out of Mai and me," I said. "And not just that. Even Toka was a victim of your heinous crimes." "That's so lame." Hold on a second. I was busy with stuff and just got to school. Shidhu tried to reassure them. "You should know when to fess up," I said. "Shido. What's done is done." Toka walked up to him. "But you shouldn't pretend it didn't happen, and next time, give me a heads up. That way I can prepare my heart first," Toka said nervously as she's blushing. "No, I'm telling you I didn't." Before he could continue talking, he got startled by Origami coming from behind. "Origami, don't tell me I did something to you, too," Shido said with a panicked tone. "Nothing," Origami said as she shakes her head. "I see." Shido sighed in relief. Or so he thought. Origami then grabbed his hand and put it into her breasts. Shido was screaming slightly and shocked. What do you think you're doing, Tobichi Origami?" Toka interrupted and pulled his hand away. "Origami. But you just said I didn't do anything," Shidhu said confused. "Right, so I'll have you do it now," Origami said. Shido was in disbelief. "Yes, do everything you did to me, too. Push me against the wall. Lift up my chin. Whisper sweet words into my ear. Gently peeling up my skirt." The girl trio was shocked, disbelief as they couldn't believe what they were hearing, and so Origami continued. "We exchange a deep, romantic kiss. You pull off my clothes, steal my innocence as a woman. And leave your everlasting mark imbued within my body." She said all that with a completely straight face. "Wait up, he hasn't done that to anybody yet," Toka panics. Do it, Shido. Do it, Origami tempted. Now listen here. Before he could talk, he was interrupted by Kagaya and Yuzuru walking in the classroom. There you are, Shido. If there's one thing you are, it's ballsy to stick around, Kagaya spoke. Warning. You'll pay for what you've done. Yuzuru spoke with her usual robot manner. Kagaya. Yuzuru. Don't tell me you think I did something to you, too? Shido hoped not. Feigning ignorance? Kagaya said, then walked closer to him. You better give back the panties you stole from me. Grudge. Who else threw water on me saying, I have a wet shirt fetish? Yuzuru spoke. Huh? I would never do that, Shido said. To think he has no bounds, I said. This goes beyond horsing around, Mai said. That's so lame, Mi said. In any case, we won't stand for this. It's a crime to defy us, Yamai. And you'll have to pay for it, Kagaya said as they do some sort of magical girl transformation. More specifically, I'll strip off your undies, Kagaya said. Response. Additionally, I shall use this spray bottle to soak your entire body, Yuzuru said. No, I didn't do anything, Shido said. Itsuka-kun. I can't become a bride anymore. You have to take responsibility. Ms. Tomei said from behind the door. Even Ms. Tomei, Shido said in shock. Itsuka. About earlier. Were you actually serious? I dunno what to say. His friend, Tanamachi said from behind the door. You gotta be kidding me. Shido then ran away from the classroom. He escaped, then everyone started to chase after him. Don't let him live. That's so lame. Shido had outmaneuvered them by going to the other door on the other side of the classroom and hid there. He opened the door and looked around to see if the scene was clear. What in the world is happening? Shido said before. Rimuru came from behind and startled him. Shido, Rimuru spoke. Rimuru? He looked behind him and stood up. Don't tell me I did something to you, too? Shido said with a panicked tone. No, you didn't. Rimuru shook her head. Oh, I see. Shido sighed in relief. You seem to be in a very bad spot right now, Rimuru said. I am. Wait, you don't think I did all those things? Shido asks. Yeah, someone is disguising as you, Rimuru says as she looked at Shido's shocked face. Disguising as me. Is that true? Rimuru just nodded at his question. He seemed to notice that Rimuru knows something about it. Rimuru. Do you know who it is? Shido asks. Yeah, it's Nat. Before she could finish talking, Shido suddenly ran. Wait, Shido said. He looked like he was chasing someone. Rimuru looked in the direction and saw him chasing Shido. Shido kept chasing after him to the rooftop. At the rooftop, he was face to face with his doppelganger. Yo, that was quick. The doppelganger said. Who are you? Shido asked. I was having all sorts of fun while you were away. The doppelganger responded with a mischievous smirk. You, what are you? Shido asked again, then he thought. Wait. Rimuru was about to say who it was. Shido pondered, but he was also confused of how Rimuru know. Crap. I went ahead and chased this guy impersonating me instead. What are you after by impersonating me? Shido asked. The doppelganger just laughed at him. Is it funny? Shido asks, annoyed and confused. It is, in fact, after all. Dumb Shido still hasn't realized it. The doppelganger spoke in a voice which Shido recognized. That voice. Natsumi? Shido was completely bewildered. Ding ding. That's right, surely you know why I've been impersonating you by now. Natsumi spoke. Don't tell me. Shido remembered the time yesterday. Natsumi said that his life will be ruined, and be over for good. Did you do all those crazy things so I couldn't live here anymore? Shido asks. Pitiful. 20 points, Natsumi responded. Then why? Shido asked again, confused. Shido. Don't you think it's strange to have two of the same person? Natsumi said as she started to walk towards him. Unless there's just one of us, everyone will be so confused. Shido said, confused and bewildered. He didn't know exactly why she's doing this. From now on, I'll take over as Shido. I have quite the observant eye. I won't goof around like I did before. Even if you're gone, no one will suspect a thing, Natsumi said. Natsumi, you're... Before Shido could finish talking, 3 girls came out from the door. Toka, Origami, and Rimuru. Rimuru Pav. A few minutes earlier, Seal, can you remove my presence? Rimuru said. Right away, Rimuru-sama. Seal then removes Rimuru's presence non-existent. Rimuru disappeared and she quickly followed Shido, who was going to the rooftop. At the door to the rooftop, she listened in to Shido and Natsumi's conversation. Then suddenly, Origami and Toka came from behind. Rimuru looked behind her and said, "You two, what are you doing here?" Rimuru, I was looking for Shido, Toka said. No, I'm looking for him, go search elsewhere, Origami said. No, you go look somewhere else, Toka said, and they started a low fight. I'll be the one to find Shido. That's my line, I can't leave him up to you, Origami said. Shush, you two be quiet, Rimuru urgently said. Are Rimuru? Why? Toka asked. That doesn't matter, just look, Rimuru said, telling them to look from the door window. Then both Toka and Origami looked and they saw two Shidus. There's two Shidos, Toka said, confused. I told you to be quiet, Rimuru said. What's this, Rimuru? Origami asks. Before Rimuru could talk, Toka barges in and entered the rooftop. Hey, Origami then followed. Rimuru having no choice, she just sighed and followed them. You two, explain yourselves, Toka shouted as she demanded. Toka, Origami, Rimuru. Listen. This guy is an imposter. Natsumi spoke, but she had Shido's voice tone again. He's the fake who's been harassing everybody, Shido spoke. Don't be fooled. I'm the real one, Shido said. You're full of it. I'm the real one, Shido said. Toka and Origami was shocked and confused except for Rimuru because she already know. In other words, we have to pick out the imposter? Toka said to Origami and Rimuru. A baffling situation. But if I had to say, Origami said, then. Both of them pointed their fingers on Shido and said, You're the imposter. The two Shidus were shocked and so is Rimuru because she didn't expect them to figure it out that fast. What are you talking about, you two? Then, he realized that Rimuru was not pointing at neither both of them. What about you, Rimuru? Who do you think it is? Shido asks. Well, if I have to say, it's you, Rimuru said calmly. Huh? I'm the real, before he could finish talking, he was cut off by Toka. You are not Shido. Sure, you look like Shido, but he had a different smell, Toka said. If you were all alone, I may have been deceived. But, standing next to the real Shido, it's a different story, Origami said and continued. Compared to the real Shido, you blink 50 milliseconds faster. And your center of gravity is angled 0.2 degrees left. And Rimuru was shocked in disbelief, and she couldn't help but be creeped out by Origami. There's no mistaking it, both Toka and Origami said. What's wrong with these girls? They're messed up, Shido said. Well, I can't deny it, Shido said. The fake Shido was in complete disbelief, and he started speaking in Natsumi's tone or voice. Unbelievable, 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 Natsumi said with frown. Natsumi pulls out Hanyel and turns back into her spirit form. You're, Toka said, shocked. Unforgivable, not only was my secret seen. My flawless disguise was seen right through. Never, I'll never acknowledge it. You're not off the hook just yet, Natsumi said and flew away with her broom. Hey, Shido said to Natsumi with concern, worry. Shido. Who in the world was that? Toka asked. What's your relationship with her? Origami asked. No, that's. Before Shido could continue, he was cut off by Rimuru. Rimuru touched his shoulder, and it startled him a bit. Shido, there's no use in worrying about Natsumi, right now, Rimuru said. But, Shido knew that she was right and he just sighed and let it go. Shido Pav, 5 days had passed after that. At the spirit house, Shido could be seen lying down in the sofa with a book over his head. And Rimuru sitting on another sofa across from him. It's been 5 days. No movements from Natsumi either, Shido thought. What's she planning to do? Then, Katori suddenly jumped on his stomach, he screamed in pain. Rimuru was shocked as she saw Katori hit his stomach with her kneecaps. Oh, that wasn't the sofa, it's Shido, Katori said. Katori, seriously, Shido said. Aren't you a bit too relaxed? Whatever the reason, Natsumi views you as her enemy? You'll never be able to seal her power unless you raise her happiness, Kotori said, then stood up from Shithu's stomach. I know that already, Shithu said. There's no knowing when she'll appear next, but, Kotori said, and she pulls out a mail. Look. This showed up in the post. The mail was for Shithu Itsuka, from Natsumi. That's, Shithu confused, then shocked as he saw the mail more clearly. I never opened it, but I checked it was safe at least, Kotori said as she handed over the mail to him. So it shouldn't go, boom, or anything like that. Shithu opened the mail and got bunch of photos. The first photo was Kotori. This got Rimuru's attention and she walked closer. This is. Confused Shithu said. A photo of me? Kotori said. Then they both all the photos on the table. 13 of them. Also, there was another note along with the photos. Rimuru grabbed it and reads it. Among them, I'm there. Can you guess who I am? Before everyone is gone. Natsumi? That's what the message says. Rimuru said. What does it mean? Shithu asks. If we take the message at face value. Among these 13 people here, Natsumi is already using her powers to impersonate someone, Kotori said. Someone, Shithu said, confused. Which means, it's also possible that it's me or Rimuru, Kotori said. This is likely a challenge to you from Natsumi, Shithu, Rimuru said. Kotori nods and looked back at Shithu. That's right, unless you guess which person she is. I imagine somebody will disappear, Kotori said, which made Shithu shocked. Find her, Shithu, before we're all gone, at DEM Industries headquarters. In London, in a meeting room between officers. What the hell were you thinking, Mr. Westcott? Murdoch said with an angry tone. I don't understand what you're asking, Murdoch, Westcott said calmly. I wish you'd stop playing dumb. I'm asking about all the things you did in Japan. Interfering with the self-defense force. Using wizards and equipments for your own agenda, and worse. Making the city a war zone. The Japanese government is all over us. How will you rectify this situation? Murdoch asks urgently. It was clear that Murdoch was completely tired of Westcott's shenanigans. It's no matter. We achieved enough to make it worthwhile. We succeeded in Princess's inversion. Westcott said, not caring at all. Do you not understand what I'm saying? What do spirits have to do with saving them? The company can't afford to take a backseat to your selfish desires. Murdoch was getting more frustrated, due to Westcott's calm demeanor. Everyone, the time has come. I petition that Managing Director Westcott be dismissed, Murdoch said. And you're fine with this, sir? Russell asks to Westcott. Of course. After all, doing so is a right of the board of directors. Westcott said. Come, Chairman Russell. Let us take a vote this instant, Murdoch said. Then Russell stood up. Very well. A raise of hands to dismiss him, Russell said. Everyone raised their hands, or so they thought until Russell said. 0 hands. His dismissal is rejected. This made Murdoch confused as he was sure that all of them raised their hands. What are you talking about, Chairman? All these people agree with. Before Murdoch could finish talking, the ones who raised their hands got their hands cut off. Blood spilled all over the floor, their screams filling the tomb. You'll find realizers ready in the infirmary, Westcott said. The one responsible for cutting their arm was none other than Ellen Mira Mathers, herself, or the strongest wizard known to mankind. She walked closer to Westcott's side, holding some kind of yellow energy sword. If you get there quickly, you'll be back to normal in a few days, Westcott said with his still calm demeanor. And once I fulfill those selfish desires you spoke of, I'll hand over the company. It won't be long now. Not when compared to how long we've been waiting. There's also a new spirit named Destroyer. It won't be a matter of time until she gets into my hands, Westcott said. End, Chapter 14.